Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Stardom Review. I am one of your co-hosts. I am Andre C. Right over here. It's the crazy princess herself. It's Melball. How you doing, Melball?
I am doing great, Andre. I could fit in with Crazy Star. I definitely could. I had
Yep.
a great shoulder day today. Feeling good with that ish. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Let's talk about how much your butt hurts. Because you did a lot of stuff with your butt, sir. You're telling me your glutes are hurting, your hammies are hurting,
That's no better.
everything's hurting.
None of that sounded any better.
I mean,
Oh my god. Oh my god. At least you didn't. Okay, think you could have made it a lot worse.
I could
I
have.
worked out. I started a new workout regimen with Rich in our new 6 week session yesterday, and he had me doing single leg deadlift, like kettlebell deadlifts, and that works your hammy and glute area like a motherfucker. Because when I got up this
Yeah.
morning, I I went to move my leg, and I was like, oh, I can't move my leg. I think but I think we were so as we record this is Saturday. We were at a show last night, and I think sitting on those chairs because my tailbone was really sore by the end. I think that didn't help because the chairs weren't to me. Again, as a bigger guy, most chairs aren't unless it's a big soft chair. Most chairs aren't comfortably, so I think that was part of what even I think it just added to my glutes being more sore.
Yeah, you're probably right a little bit about that. You're probably like you worked your legs really, really hard and then you sat
Mm-hmm.
on them in a structured position for like a couple hours. Like, yeah, I get that. I would
Mm-hmm.
understand that. Because I actually found the chair that I was sitting on to be pretty comfortable, but I also am pretty chaotic when we're at these shows.
Also, tiny little girl versus big old dude. Again, very different feeling
Tiny,
sitting on a chair.
not tiny, not
Comparatively,
tiny.
comparatively to me, tiny.
Fine.
I'm only doing that in our comparison. You know what I mean? But for
I mean, let's be honest, in comparison to most people, I'm 5'3". Like, and I'm 125 pounds. I'm small to most people. I get it.
Mhm.
It just has become at my age a
Shit,
focus of
you're
rage.
well under half my weight. Just sad, which is really sad. But
Hey,
I'm
I
working
worked
on it,
hard to get here.
and I'm working on it too.
Yeah. So good job, both of
I,
us. Let's talk
my,
wrestling.
I almost went and hit the Stardom intro again. I am so bad at my job.
Way! We need to get through this episode, sir. We are 3 minutes in.
Yeah, so we're gonna get right into it. Before we jump in, I want to thank each and every one of you tuning here on either on any of the way you're tuning in. If you're tuning in on YouTube's either Andre Melball Wrestling Talk or on Backbreaker Video on Mike's simulcast, thank you guys so much for joining in. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below. Because we love talking to you guys and communicating about what you're loving about the shows. So please leave us some comments. Please share the videos and the channel out to your friends, family, aliens, fourth dimensional, fifth dimensional, sixth dimensional, maybe even if you're Buckaroo Banzai going across the eighth dimension, share it out to everybody. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you get alerted every time we drop a new video.
Ding dong.
Um, are you from the eighth dimension?
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't need you summoning that ish to my doorstep. I got enough problems.
Hey, if Buckaroo Banzai's there, I'm good. But and if you are listening to us in audio form over on Sunday night's main event, thank you so very much for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. If you can, if you have the ability to like the podcast on whatever podcast catcher, please like us. Give us a 5-star review on whatever your podcast catcher of choice. And if you want to support Sunday night's main event, go to patreon.com/SNME radio if you want to support them over there. Lots of great stuff going there. Going to be some new exclusive podcasts dropping. Be some from us. We're gonna have a show coming out next week here on reviewing some of the local indie shows we're gonna be going to next in this upcoming week. We're gonna get some big stars on those. We're gonna be dropping that on SNME next week. So please check that out too.
Ah.
But We're here to talk some Cinderella tournament second round matches. We're gonna kick it off. It kicked off with Siera versus Iida, champion versus champion. It's true, they are.
Yes, yeah. Tag team champion versus a high speed champion. Heck yeah.
High speed versus new blood. Let's go. Iida power advantage early. Iida tosses May over the top, but she rolls through the ropes into a roll through and hits into a roll up roll through and hits the Iida drop kick.
Mhm.
Catches May, scoop slams her for one. Iida dropping elbows, just that jumping elbow for two. Very Nick Nemeth of her. I very much I feel like that's a Nick Nemeth move where he would always do the repeated elbows and then that jumping elbow. I feel like that's
Yeah.
that one. Iida can't get the suplex, so unloads with chops on the ropes, just bang, 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 Kojima style for a long time.
Yeah. That's gotta be a record for how long those chops have gone. And I would say that we're like machine gun chop connoisseurs at this point.
I watch I watch pretty much all wrestling if it's not live at 1.5 speed because that's just I'm just insane. I'm insane. And
Also, this probably looked hilarious.
and I even thought it was very long with how long she was going at 1.5 times the speed. So
She was already going pretty fast, but now she's going.
it's like
Yeah, she was going
it was
hard,
like
and she was
oh yeah.
hitting hard every time. There was no let up. They got stronger, not weaker, as she went on.
Yeah, so May fights back, hits a headhunter, then hits a springboard drop kick for two. They trade strikes to center. May drops Iida, but she comes back with the double chop. They trade roll ups. Iida hits a big shoulder block, but May hits a drop kick. May misses off the second rope, but gets that snap sunset flip, and May Siera moves on to the quarterfinals.
Yeah. First of all, I am loving how short these matches are. It makes the watch time a lot easier, and it enables me to watch one or two of them while I'm warming up at the gym, which I really, really like. But also takes away from my ability to write down my notes, which sucks. So I just kind of go from memory on some of these things. Um, the hairstyle, I think I mentioned it in the last video, but I wanted to mention it again. Ida's hairstyle, the way she's flipping it out, it's very Farrah Fawcett from the 70s right now, and I'm like living for it. It looks so good on her. And I really like how she's
Mm-hmm.
doing. I know you noticed. The like kind of medium chocolate brown with the green tips that she's been doing is just so fire. It looks so good on her. I think I mentioned again in the last video, I feel like her look has matured a lot over the last couple of months with this new gear, this new look. She's got the titles with Hanan. It's just such a good look and a good direction for her to be going in. Um, and yeah, you mentioned the machine gun chops. I said that that was the longest sequence of those I've ever seen, and she did so good on that. Um, there was one point Mei Mei did a drop kick on Iida, and it just lawn chaired Iida up. She kissed her knees.
Mm-hmm.
That was a that was a fold. Um, yeah, other than that, I felt this was a great match. I felt Iida kept up with Mei Mei very, very good, actually. I was really, really impressed with this match, but I did feel Mei Mei did kind of deserve the win on this one. I was really happy to see her pick it up.
Yeah, me too. And a really good match, and it just again, I felt like they flowed so well, and I think Iida could do well in a high speed division. Honestly, she's even
Absolutely.
the power girl. I think she could do well in the high speed environment.
Yeah. You know
Mm.
what I could almost see her being is like that El Lindemann of the high speed division.
Yeah, like being yeah, she could be the more power version of that in that world, but
Yeah,
she can move quick when she needs to, but then she can just power people around when she needs to. Yeah,
exactly.
definitely,
Exactly like El Lindemann was.
definitely. So we
Yeah.
move on. It's Amisare versus Yuna Mizumori. They
Oh,
trade strikes at center to start. They're trading shoulder blocks, trading slams. They're avoiding each other's moves, both hitting big chops. He gets a torture rack, places her in the corner, hits that splash to the back, then gets a sliding lariat for two. Yuna fights off the suplex. They crash into each other repeatedly with lariats. Yuna gets a roll up for two, then hits two sliding lariats and hits like a GTR like move for two, just without it looked very GTR
yeah.
ish. Wasn't
Yeah.
quite a GTR, but it was very similar. Gets a 2 out of that. They trade lariats. Yuna hits a lariat off the second for 2. Yuna can't get Ami up for the electric chair, so Ami drops her and then hits her with a suplex. Yuna gets out of the backdrop suplex and hits a lariat for 2. Then Ami pulls out her tag team partners move, the jumping lariat, then hits a blue thunder bomb, but only gets toast. So she says, "Screw it." Picks her up, hits like a thunderbolt. Ape shit for those of you that you don't know, and gets the win. Or Rikishi driver for you old school people. But yeah, I thought these two had an absolutely incredible match, and it was 6 minutes and 9 seconds, and they killed it.
Yeah. This was very much like, and it feels funny saying it, but it was the female equivalent of big meaty men slapping meat. It was very much a power match, where Yuna was very much fighting Yuna was very much fighting Ami for power and dominance throughout this entire match. Ami has already asserted herself. I mean, she's 1/3 of the Artist of Stardom champions. She's asserted herself as a dominant power, and she's the buttercup of the Powerpuff Girl group there. That's arguably the strongest Powerpuff Girl on there, even more so than Blossom. Um, I also want to just again mention I love Yuna's new look. The blue and pink hair just looks so good, and she had like this more green gear on this night. I felt it looked a lot better, despite not matching the brightly colored hair at all. I felt that the green looked a lot better than the orange gear that she was wearing the night before. Just because again, that blue, usually blue and orange, I mean, you can look at the Edmonton Oilers, that usually works really, really well together, but something about it wasn't working for me, aesthetically speaking, the night before on the 9th. She looked phenomenal though, and there was also a lot of crowd interaction in this one, with both Ami and Yuna playing to the crowd, getting them fired up. Yuna is one of those people who I think has that just natural charisma and showmanship, where she wants people to get excited. She wants to hear the noise. Ami, she likes it when the crowd cheers for her, but she doesn't always get them fired up. But when she has someone in the match with her that is firing up, she'll kind of like it becomes a competition, I think, for Ami, where it's like, "Oh, you're getting that crowd fired up. No, watch me get the crowd fired up." And that was kinda like what it was a little bit in this match, and I really, really liked it because we don't see that side of Ami quite a bit. Yeah, very, very solid match. I really like this match.
Yeah, I think these two they clash so well, and
Mm.
we gotta. There is one thing I want to talk about news wise. Ami's tag team partner Mirai is leaving the company at the end of the month to go to work
Yeah.
on Raw with Rossi's new startup. Does Ami have a title by end of month? That's the real question.
I I want to say no, just because with Mirai exiting, unless they drop the title to somebody, I don't see the the purpose of leaving it on them. I know you like that Freebird kind of thing and would love to see the belt, end up on Saki or maybe even Rana
No,
by default.
no, no. Saki Kashima only, or Konami.
Konami, I think, is in the US right now, though, so I don't
Either
think she
one
could
works
make it
though.
back in time. But anyway, regardless, I suspect that they're either going to drop the titles or do what they did in NJPW and just vacate them after one final successful defense. I don't know. It depends on how they want Mirai exiting the company and how
Hmm.
well they want to ensure that that relationship kind of stays okay.
Yeah,
Like now that we know some of these women are leaving, Mirai being one of them, is there going to be an issue where we're going to start seeing some Kenta-ing going on? What because they're not happy about it? I hope that's not the case.
yeah, and I don't know. We'll see again. And Mirai is the next one to talk about. That's why I wanted to bring it up now. For go from
Yeah,
Ami to Mirai,
smart.
talk about those titles. So yeah, and
That's smart.
Mirai coming into this tournament and news coming out this is obviously a week after this match these matches had a week or so, a couple weeks after these matches happened. But
Yeah.
yeah, so this ending doesn't surprise me as much anymore,
Yeah.
because you have Hanan versus Mirai in the second round match. They wrestle around for position early. Hanan gets an STO, then the running body attack on the ropes, hits a sliding back elbow for 2. Mirai picking up speed, hits the shoulder blocks. Mirai slams Hanan, goes for that Vader bomb style elbow out of the corner, but gets pushed over the top. And Hanan unloads on Mirai. Mirai fights back and gets a tarantula on the ropes. Then does that roll through the ropes up into the flat and then hits the flatliner. So
Yep.
good. So good. So
So
smooth.
good.
So good.
So
Mirai gets a
good.
guillotine choke, then transitions into the rings of Saturn. But Hanan eventually gets a foot on the ropes. Hanan gets a victory roll for 2. They trade strikes with Mirai eventually dropping Hanan. Hanan comes back, unloading, but gets caught and gets struck from behind. And then while she's down, but gets struck from behind while she's down. Then Hanan comes back with the judo toss and gets a spinning back elbow. She then hits the running Fameasser forward to Mirai and Hanan each trying backdrop suplexes. Mirai gets a roll up for 2 into the ring to Saturn again, but Hanan gets a foot on the ropes. Corkscrew fall away slam by Hanan, but can't get the backdrop. Mirai gets an angle slam into the SS Columbia with Michelle and hits the lariat, but Hanan rolls her up for 2. Again, she gets smashed, but then she catches Mirai with the roll. I like the sneakiness there.
Mhm.
Mirai gets Miramare shock, but can only get 2. Hanan avoids the spinning Miramare shock, gets a crucifix for 2, hits the uppercut and a bridging follow-away slam for 2. Mirai tries to stop it, but Hanan hits that backdrop suplex, then hits the bridging backdrop suplex for the win. Hanan defeating the last 2 years champion
Mhm.
Mirai in the second round. I thought Mirai was going to be like a semi-finalist this year. So
Yeah.
yeah, they embrace after the match, shaking hands, signs of respect. I love the little almost passing of the torch here with Mirai and
Mhm.
Hanan. She's like, "Here, you move on. You got me. You move on. Keep your momentum going." Again, I like the feel of it.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, and especially now knowing what we know,
Mm-hmm.
about Mirai, this makes a lot more sense. Um, but I echo the same sentiment. I thought that, Mirai was gonna make it pretty far in here. I definitely didn't see her falling to Hanan. So this was an interesting match for me, and when it ended, I was kinda like, "Whoa, wait, what? What just happened?" I was pretty surprised, but I like those shockers. I like those shockers to happen once in a while because it makes the predictability factor for these tournaments go down.
Mhm. It is. It gives it a distinctive, different feel, which is nice.
Uh-huh, yeah, it makes it very
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah. So we're gonna move on. Suzuki versus Starlight Kid. They're firing strikes at each other to start. They're just going. This is
Yes.
just straight into it. Starlight Kid sends Suzuki through the ropes, and then they go to the floor. Sasuke's running her in a chair. Suzuki gets the upper hand, slams Starlight Kid's face repeatedly into a sign on the wall. Suzu gets a scoop slam at ringside. Uh, wrote Suzu gets the clap. I don't know. Don't
The
know what
what?
she must have done something that
I
involved
don't
clapping. That involved clapping. I don't know. I feel ridiculous now.
I'm drawing a blank on
Maybe
that
she
one,
just
and I
started
should
getting
take notes for those.
maybe she started getting
The
the clap
Starlight Kid
like
clap?
a clap going. Yeah, maybe that's it. I don't know. She got a
They
clap
were
going
battling
maybe.
back and forth between everything, including their moves, so yeah, that would make sense.
And then Suzu hits the standing moonsault for 1. Uh,
Yeah.
Suzu kicks Starlight Kid in the ropes, gets the nasty German in the ropes, letting
Yes.
German out, but misses the drive-by kick. And so Starlight Kid swings around on the bottom, hits this tiger feint kick, like a low tiger feint kick, then gets her own drive-by kick to Suzu, and then hits a high cross off the top. Standing moonsault in the ring for 2 by Starlight Kid, and the high cross off the top was into the ring by BT Dubs. Just standing moonsault for 2. Again, they're dodging kicks, and Starlight Kid dodges a kick, gets a stretch muffler. They end up, Suzu gets out. They trade forearms. Suzu hits a half Nelson slam. They trade forearms. They're trading strikes again. They're both just laying them in. Suzu gets a snapmare in the PK, then pulls Starlight Kid into the ropes, and this is where she gets her drive-by drop kick. Suzu up top, but Starlight Kid can't arm drag her off, but Starlight Kid avoids the attack, tries to drop kick her off, but Suzu stays up. Starlight Kid attacks up top, hits it's like a victory roll off. Looked like a victory roll off the top. It looked really good.
Yeah.
That looked really good. Sliced bread number 2 by Starlight Kid for 2. Then she hits the top rope moonsault, but Suzuki kicks out of that 2.999 spot. Like, just last possible moment. Yeah. Suzu slips out of the Tiger suplex, hits the release German. Suzu with kicks to the head. Starlight Kid ducks one and gets the leg, applies the stretch muffler, but Suzu gets out and hits the kick, then hits the running knee, but only gets one. Starlight Kid hits the cross-leg fisherman buster, but Suzu comes back with a tequila shot. But Starlight Kid kicks out of that like 2.999. Starlight Kid stops the rolling chaos theory into a victory roll for 2. Starlight Kid slips out of the German, but gets super kicked. But Starlight Kid tosses Suzu over the top to the apron, drop kicks the legs out from under her, so she's out from under her, and Suzu ends up on the floor. And I was like, oh, so Suzu loses the match by over the top rope elimination. And Suzu is pissed as she's leave.
Wow. Yeah.
And then
because
Hanan,
of all of the losses, the way to lose these matches, that's got to be the most insulting.
Yeah. At least if she had hit her with like the moonsault off the top and pinned her, it's like, I finished you off the move, but no, I got you over the top and kicked your legs out from under you.
Yeah. I felt the same emotion in this ending as I did when Mirai and Amisore beat Nane and Yu for the Goddess of Stardom championships. It was like, this was a great match, and then the ending happened, and it was like, what? Why?
It happens.
Yeah, a lot in Stardom, I'm noticing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You got anything else
Mr.
on this one?
Okada of the non-Kazuchika kind. Stop failing us. That's all I
Anything
got.
else? All right.
Nope,
All right.
that's everything.
We're going to pause tournament matches for a minute, and we're going to talk about the New Japan Strong Women's Championship match. Giulia defending against Stephanie Vaquer. Vaquer has the CML Women's Championship and the Women's Tag Team Championship with her. So this girl's walking all the gold out there right now.
Trippy.
Vaquer gets an O'Connor roll early for 2. Giulia gets an arm bar, then into a pin for 2. Vaquer catches Giulia with a backbreaker, but Giulia right back with a drop kick. Hammerlock Northern Lights by Giulia. Vaquer then gets Giulia in the corner, gets one leg up, and then grabs the other leg and dragon screws her out of the corner. Then gets the Meteora in another corner for 2. They went at each other here, man. Figure 4 head scissors by Vaquer, and this is where she's like slamming the head into the mat in that figure 4 head scissors.
Almost like I almost thought it was like almost a Brazilian lap dance. Almost, but way less fun.
Yeah,
clearly.
Way less fun. Just repeatedly smashing the face. Then she gets a leg drop for 2. Giulia gets Vaquer up top, but she pulls her over to the floor. Not an elimination because this isn't part of the Cinderella tournament. Giulia attacks on the floor, then gets knees to the face off the apron, then hits a neck breaker off the apron to the floor. Back in the ring, Vaquer gets eat defeat and a springboard cross for 2. But then Giulia gets the STF, but Vaquer gets to the ropes. Top rope drop kick by Giulia and the Falcon Arrow for 2. Vaquer slips out of the Glorious Driver. Giulia slips out of Vaquer's package pile driver. They're trading strikes, just solid, just smacking the piss out of each other. Giulia catches a lariat into the backdrop suplex, but Vaquer then comes back with a suplex. Giulia gets a knee, hits like a running knee. Then Vaquer hits a backdrop suplex, and both ladies are down again. Great sequence of them just smashing each other with moves.
Yeah.
They get up, they start headbutting each other. I'm like, but they were doing like those protected headbutts where you grab the head, but you're actually kind of hitting your hand, so it looks like you're crashing them, but you're actually kind of
Yeah.
more hitting your own hand. So I wasn't. It's something like Hanare and who the
Mikey
hell?
Nichols,
Mikey
yeah.
Nichols when they started literally headbutting each other. Um,
Where
Vaquer
Nichols had a cut on his forehead for the entire tournament because he just kept headbutting people.
Yeah, and so Giulia slips out of the package pile driver again, but Vaquer hits 2 super kicks. She gets the drop kick. She goes up, but Giulia cuts her off and hits that super butterfly suplex for 2. Giulia gets a triangle off the pin, then transitions into the rings of Saturn, but Vaquer gets to the ropes. Giulia tries Glorious Driver, but ends up getting but she can't get it, so she gets a pump handle backdrop suplex for 2. Glorious driver by Giulia for 2, but Vaquer kicks out like a 2.999. We haven't actually, I didn't actually see Giulia hit a glorious driver in a while. Usually she just goes that Northern
Yeah.
Lights bomb now.
Yeah.
But Giulia goes for the Northern Lights bomb, but Vaquer reverses it, hits a DDT into the victory roll. 1, 2. I thought Giulia kicked out, but no, 3. And we have a new strong NJPW Strong Women's Champion. But it did look like Giulia kicked out on the pin, didn't it? Like it looked odd.
It looked weak, is what it looked like. There was a kick out attempt, but it looked like she just didn't have
Mm.
the gusto. You
To
can
get the
say that because she's
shoulder off, yeah.
Italian. The gusto. She didn't have the gusto to get everything up in the appropriate amount of time. But I liked that because it made it look like she was still trying to go out fighting at the
Mm.
end of it all. So I kinda dig that. Um, do you wanna talk about what happened after
Yeah.
first, or do you want
Well,
me?
let's talk the match and then we'll talk what happened
Okay.
after. Give us your thoughts on the
I don't
match
have a
itself.
whole ton to add because you got a lot of the really good spots, but I'll elaborate where I can. First of all, Vaquer, rocking this really awesome black and red gear with a really like nice matchy robe. Everything about Stephanie's look, her aesthetic, the
The
little
horns.
spider
Those
looking
horns
stuff.
she wears.
Yeah, the Maleficent style horns that she comes out with is just so good. Her overall look is just it's so good because she has this look that you don't from what I see with lucha libre women, you don't see like Stephanie has a very unique look in herself, and it's so good. I don't know if you noticed she was busted open a little quick in the match there. Her lip started bleeding pretty quickly, but I couldn't tell from where. I assume when they were like beating the holy hell and shit out of each other that's probably where that happened. But yeah, Giulia coming in nice silver gear. But I don't know if you noticed her half of her face was glitter. It was great. I loved it. She was really sparkly. There
Glitter!
was glitter, glitz, sparkle. Oh, she's not Alexa Bliss. Um, there was a really, really wicked backbreaker that Vaquier did on Giulia that I was just like, God dang, that is the backbreaker of a champion right there. I mean, she's already a champion, but now arguably becoming a belt collector in her own right. There was also a really, really awesome neck breaker um, that Giulia did off the apron that looked really, really good on Bucky after the outside there. This match was super solid. These women went right at it. This was an all-out war. And
Mm-hmm.
like in all intents and purposes, these girls were beaking back and forth on their socials with promos and stuff like that. And then they also had the opportunity to tango the night before on the ninth in that multi-person tag match. It's just these girls went at it both verbally, physically, and turned out to be one of the best matches I've seen since Megan Bayne challenged Giulia for the title.
Mhm.
It was so good. But I think as much as I loved Giulia being the champion, I think Vaquer's going to have a tremendous run also because she is just as strong as Giulia, and she has the ability to travel a little bit more, I think. So I think we're
Yeah.
gonna see this challenged a little bit more frequently, and I think we're gonna see it not just challenged in NJPW. I think we're gonna start seeing it challenged in CMLL, hopefully in some ROH, hopefully in some maybe AEW. I would love to see that. I would love to see Chris Statlander get an opportunity at Vaquer. That would be a great
Oh,
match.
heck yeah. Again, there's so many good women on AEW's roster. What I wouldn't give for an Athena versus Stephanie Vaquer match, that would be kill. Oh, Billy Starks, Mercedes Martinez. I'm just thinking of people
Yeah.
From ROH, Diamante. Like, there's some great women there that would
Oh,
just
good.
absolutely
Yeah.
kill it with Stephanie
Yeah.
Vaquer. Queen Amanita, Red Velvet. Like,
Oh, yeah.
they're all just phenomenal talent.
Mariah May.
Or I may even go to TNA, take on a Giselle Shaw, give her another shot. Zaya
Yeah, yeah,
Brookside, like so many there's so many people that Vaquer can like that Julia could have too, but I think with Vaquer being more of an American or North American based wrestler, she can go to
that'll
more
be easier for
places and
sure.
do a lot more of this. Well, she still has her
Absolutely.
CMLL, but she has the ability. The travel isn't as long as arduous as getting over from Japan.
Correct.
So, yeah. But hey, Julia
More of that.
defended over here a few times. She just defended was it a month ago against Trisha on that Strong
Yeah,
show. So on the Strong show. So
yeah,
again, not that she wasn't a traveling fighting champion. She did way more defenses than Mayu has. That's for damn
yeah,
sure. I had that belt longer.
yeah. But they are really right now trying to make that push in the North American,
Very
uh,
much so.
kind of market here, and Julia is very marketable
Mhm.
for for them, but she is leaving Stardom. So she's leaving to kind of start her own thing with Rossi there, potentially end up in WWE. She's till the bitter end, though, cared very deeply about the prestige of that title, though. And I feel that's probably why she traveled as much as she did to defend it. But I agree that Stephanie is based more in North America. I think we'll be able to see her fighting for that title again, not just on, Stardom or NGPW, but possibly other promotions like maybe GCW even,
Yeah, there's some great shows coming up WrestleMania
MLW.
weekend. Some great stuff. Yeah, you have Matt Riddle there defending. Bring another New Japan title over there. I'm good with that.
Yeah,
So post
pissed me off
match,
enough.
yeah. So post match, Becky gets the mic. She says, and it's very short and sweet. From here on, I'm the strong champion. And then she looks at Julia and goes, "Thank you." Like a very almost felt like a sincere thank you. So
Yeah,
Becky leaves. Julia gets handed the mic. She starts to speak. She says, "Corkin Hall, how are you doing?" And then she's ambushed by Oedo Tai. Yeah, like Vaquer might have set it up. She was working with them the night before, so you never know. Um, she could have.
speculation.
So Oedo Tai attacks Giulia. Ends up the save gets made by May, Siera, and Suzuki, which isn't surprised. That's who she's been teaming with for the last while, and also my Sakurai too. Again, her ex stablemate and two people she's been working with
Mhm,
regularly. Um,
mhm.
and the surprise of it all, Tam Nakano. That's the one that I was like, why is Tam here? I was so confused. So
I
Tori gets the
have
mic.
speculation on that.
Well, I know they're going to be working this as we record this weekend. They're tagging together on a couple shows, so I think it's setting up more like that kind of stuff. Um, and I think she might have tagged on the final show, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. Tori gets the mic. She goes, for some reason it says a follower, a lackey. What the hell? What the hell? You guys are just Julia's goldfish. Shit, 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 shit. Like whoever's doing the translating, I'm good. I like this. I like this person. And Tori goes, "You're leaving," indicating it, Julia. And she goes, "Hey, Mirai, shut up." Just simple. Shut up. That was so dumb. Oh wait, that's high,
No.
and then Giulia and crew they leave the ring, and then Tora goes, "Oedo is going to destroy everyone in this ring. We'll give you nightmares, shiver in your sleep." And then she drops the mic, and then it cuts to Tam and Giulia at the entranceway, and they kind of just like kind of have a little like stare down, and then
Mhm.
Tam just puts her arm around Giulia and helps her to the back. I was like, see where this goes.
Mm.
Julia's got a few more shows, and then there is also the April 12th show that Giulia has been announced to work after her contract's up. She is doing that one more show, so maybe we get
Mhm.
Tam versus Giulia at that show.
I suspect that is the case. Absolutely. I also suspect that this is as we've seen, Oedo Tai kind of doing a little bit more shenanigans throughout the Cinderella tournament here. I don't want to say they're becoming a house of torture, but they're kind of acting a little house of torture. Um, I suspect that maybe Tam kind of came out because she's also been a victim of this. Her
Mm.
and Cosmic Angels have been a victim of this. Everyone is kind of as House of Torture does. Everyone's becoming a victim of a Oedo Tai. So I think that that Tam coming out here is not just a thing that she's concerned about Giulia, 'cause I think she is, but I don't think that's just the case. I think this is a case of we see the same threat. We have to meet the threat in a head-on kind of manner.
Mm.
And especially with Oedo Tai, I mean, that's the only way to do it. You gotta fight that fire with fire. You gotta get the strongest people that you can. What?
I hate that saying. You don't fight fire with fire. You fight fire with water, or
Okay, but
compressed
who wants to be
gases.
water? Okay, well, okay, Oedo Tai is fire and they're water, and we'll throw them on them. That sounds great.
I want to be a CO2 fire extinguisher.
Sure. Anyway, the best way to kind of deal with Oedo Tai is to deal with Oedo Tai in the same way that Oedo Tai is dealing with Oedo like everybody else. So yeah, they really got to kind of combat that head on, apply directly to your forehead, and
Mm.
yeah, I suspect that that's going to be the next plan going forward until Julia leaves.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing if they are doing Tam versus Giulia one more time. I'm down for that match. 100% down for that match.
Same, same, same,
Well,
same.
we're gonna move over to the March 16th show. We're gonna talk about the Cinderella tournament matches from that show. It's Azumi versus Sayaka Kurara, who shouldn't even be in this Kurara, who shouldn't even be in this goddamn match. Um, it should be Tora. They shake hands for the bell. They're like wrestling around early. Kurara unloads on Azumi in the ropes. Azumi sweeps her down, gets a PK and a seated drop kick. Corner drop kick by Azumi, and then gets that cocky kneeling pin for two. Then hits another PK. Kurara fights back, but is dropped with a hard shot. Kurara with those like 4 or 5 repeated drop kicks gets a 2 count. Finally dropping Azumi on the last drop kick. Uh, Azumi stops the suplex, but she misses a splash in the corner. Azumi tosses Kurara over, but Kurara fights back, hits a springboard arm drag and a drop kick for two. Scoop slam by Kurara for two. They trade strikes to center. Kurara low bridges Azumi over the top, but Azumi comes back in after fighting her off with a springboard drop kick and then hits a suplex for two. Azumi goes to the top, misses the stomp, gets rolled up for two. Then Kurara hits the spear for two. I'm thinking they better not fucking give Kurara the win here. Like I was like the way this is going, I'm like they're not going to fucking do this, are they? I apologize for swearing so much. God dang it. Uh, uh,
Don't worry, I was equally concerned.
Kurara pushes Azumi over the top, but she comes through into a roll up, then into another couple roll ups and gets twos on everyone. More roll ups by Kurara for two. Azumi then hops over the spear attempt by Kurara, gets her into the Azumi sushi for the win. Thank
Thank goodness.
Christ.
Yeah. It was already like, and I'm thinking back, like, remember on Japanese Wrestling Update on our local establishment? when we were talking about the first round and you showed me the picture of Kurara facing
Ah,
Tora, and I was like, "Oh, that's not fair. That girl's gonna die."
mhm.
And then she didn't. She's
Well,
barely
she
still alive.
almost did. She almost did. Even winning, she got the piss beat out of
Yeah,
her.
she did, yeah. Let that be a lesson. Don't beat Tora.
Don't enter
Um,
tournaments.
y you know, I actually really like the look that Kurara has, but I definitely feel it was a little soon. It was a little early. She wasn't ready yet, but I feel that she's making the best of what it is that she's can. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Like, she's making the best of the
Yes.
time, she's making the best of the training. She's doing her absolute best. Every time we see her, I'm seeing a little bit more confidence in her and everything she's doing. She's not relying more on the other people to control the match. She's asking them for help throughout it, but she's not relying on them in the same way that she was in her earlier matches. And in this one with Azumi, I mean, she's just so quick. I feel that Azumi's speed was what enabled her to catch that Azumi sushi at the end there to get the win on this.
Mhm.
Um, I don't have a whole ton to say to this one because I was at the gym, so I didn't write any notes down. But this, I remember this match being very, very fast paced.
Mhm.
I remember being very
It's high
surprised at
speed.
yeah, how quick Kurara was and how well she was keeping up with Atsumi.
I feel like once Kurara develops, like gets really more into it, I think she'll be a great addition to the high speed division.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. We move on. It's the ladyship. My Sakurai versus the somewhat rookie Miyu Amasaki. They wrestle for position early. Trading boots to the face. Mai gets the paradise lock. Does the Cap Morgan pose on Miyu before drop kicking to unlock. Boots and chokes in the corner. Drop toe hold into the elbow by Mai and gets a 2 count. Miyu fires back with strikes, but Mai drops her. But Miyu comes back with a drop kick to the knee, and then hits that short DDT for 2. Then transitions into the Rings of Saturn. It's a very popular move over in Stardom. I'll say that.
It looks
Uh,
really good when the girls do it, though. I don't know
oh
what
yeah,
it
very much so.
is.
Yeah, I think the best version of that move though is either Britt Baker or when she does it with the lockjaw when she puts the mandible claw in,
Oh,
or
yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Pac's version. And when he gets that on a guy and he's torque, you just see him
He's
wrenching that neck.
mean.
Oh, it's so
He's a
good.
bit of a bastard with it, huh?
He's a bastard, a bastard
Bit
Pac.
of a bastard about it.
I can't do good accents. You can, I can.
Yeah, I try. Bit of a bastard, that one.
A bit of a bastard. And I was intentionally bad.
Speaking of Muppets, um,
I didn't know what I was doing there. Mai gets to the rope, so off that one. Drop kick by Mai for 2. Then transitions to the STF, but Miyu fights and gets to the bottom rope. Mai hits a boot to the face in the ropes and a second rope drop kick for 2. They trade strikes at center. Miyu unloads, but Mai hits that flying like shin strike that she does. Um, Miyu gets the DDT out of a suplex attempt, then comes back pendulum DDT for 2. Miyu sets up that like sit out falcon or wing angel's wings that she does. Uh, but Mai attacks and hits the leg drop final cut for 2. And she hits a bridging fisherman suplex for 2. For 2. Mai gets that face plant suplex, but misses the elbow off the top. Transitions from both, and Miyu gets the O'Connor roll, or a version of the O'Connor roll. It's like a half O'Connor roll, and gets the win. But as we spoke with Mirai, I'm not again now. No, this surprised me in the moment when I was watching it. But now knowing the news that my Sakurai will be leaving Stardom to go to Rossi Ogawa Pro, as I'm calling it for now, um, I can see why now they did it with Miyu to move on.
Mhm. That's my fear. Like I get, removing them from the tournament and stuff because it's still kind of going on and stuff past their contracts or
Mhm.
whatever. I get that. My fear is that they're going to be punished in between now and then with silly losses or silly things that are going to devalue the character. I hope that's not the case and that they're just able to kind of do their thing and just quietly go into the night. But I'm going to be watching a little closely to make sure that that's not the case. But yeah, this match was actually very, very good. My
Mhm.
Sakurai hitting like a truck in this one. Every strike she was doing seemed way, way harder than we're usually used to with her. She was doing her ladyship stuff, but I also noted a very distinct, serious tone with her. I felt that this was I kind of got the feeling at the beginning of this that it was very important to her. She was very focused on it.
Mhm.
And now knowing afterwards that she is leaving, I can understand why. She would kind of want this last big singles match of hers to be something that the people would remember. And I think that she accomplished that in this match.
Oh, very
The
much
last
so.
thing I wanted to say about this one was I really like Miyu's new gear. Um,
Mhm.
Knowing though that Yuzuki is also one of the people who is going to be leaving Stardom. Um, this statement makes no sense, but I said that Miyu's new gear is a refreshing because it looks very similar to what Yuzuki has now, very strappy with the white straps and the studs on them and stuff like that. It almost looked like they could be twins. Now it's very different. There's a very different look on Miyu. I think it's again very similar to Iida, a maturation of her
Mhm.
look and her gear.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's all I got to say on this guy.
Yeah. Again, they had a really good match, and again, now
Yeah,
knowing that Mai's out of there, I'm like, okay, good final match, a good final singles. 'Cause again, she'll probably work tags up until the 31st, and then she's gonna
yeah,
be gone. Yeah.
yeah, probably, yeah.
So we're gonna move on. It's the Battle of Empress Nexus Venus. It's
Yes.
Ruaka Tsukiyama versus Xena. They
I took the
shake.
most notes on this.
Me too. This is and this is and of this all the second round matches, this is the second shortest match, and this is the one I took the most notes on. So stupid.
Really?
Yeah.
This was
Took it.
actually also for me the match of the night. Like I enjoyed the main,
Mhm.
but this to me was just way more exciting because of the story, I think.
Again, and I think because we're so invested, both of us are very much invested in Empress Nexus Venus as fans of the
Yeah,
group. To have to see
yeah,
the partners, the friends, the teammates face off, and really
yeah,
like it was cool. They shake hands before the bell.
yeah.
Um, Xena using her power to push back Waka. They each end up catching each other's kick, and they do that slow put the foot on the mat. It was actually quite funny. Um,
Yes.
Waka gets the drop kick, dropping Xena, gets the hip attacks, but Xena gets up, smacks Waka in the ass, and then
Mhm.
Snapmare's over, and she does the hip attack to Waka's head. I was just like,
The Waka weapon is what I was calling it.
yeah,
The
the
Waka
Waka weapon.
weapon.
Yeah, the Waka weapon. Um, he does her own. Waka tries to go for the Waka ride, but Xena runs her into the corner before she can get it in. Xena
Mhm.
misses a splash in the corner, but catches Waka running in and drops her. Picks her up and drops her at center. Chops her, gets the delayed suplex, but Waka slips down out of the delayed suplex into the Waka ride. Xena fights her way, gets to the ropes, and Waka gets a running hip attack into the ropes.
Mm.
Um, Waka gets the rolling senton off the second, the Tanahashi style rolling senton off the second for two. Xena slips out of the straight jacket slam, but Waka ducks the chop, hits the uppercut. Waka hits the top rope drop kick, then hits it for two, then hits a straight jacket slam for two. Waka gets the step over, like she's stepping over the neck, but pulling the arms back. I thought actually really kind of different and cool looking submission there.
Yeah,
Uh,
very unique.
and again, it works the same as the Walker ride, but she's trapping them by standing over the body, like she's standing 1 foot behind, 1 foot in front, and she's like stepping over the shoulder, like
Mhm.
behind the neck, and then she's pulling up on the arm. So it works the same way as the Walker ride and how you're pulling the arms back, but it's a different way of doing it. I'm like, oh, I really like this. This looks cool.
Very unique.
Um, yeah, but Xena fights out, hits a butterfly suplex. Larry in the corner. The only part about this one is if you get your foot around the right way, you can stand up into it and like
Mhm.
drop the person out of it. Uh, Xena gets a lariat in the corner and the bulldog for 2. Xena sweeps Waka when she's out on the apron and delivers this like running kick to the face. She then picks up Waka, backdrops around to the apron, and then gets a 2 in the ring. Waka rolling Xena around the ring into the seatbelt pin for 2. Xena then hits a super kick, gets Waka up into the torture rack, flips her forward, thunderstruck, and Xena puts her teammate down for the 1, the 2, and the 3. And Xena represents Empress Nexus Venus in the quarterfinals.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, and then after the
So
match, Cena does help walk up to the match. They pose together in the
mhm,
ring, then they leave together again. Like it shows, like we're gonna fight each other, but we're still friends in the end.
mhm. It was the perfect sportsmanship match, I think, because it showed just the unquestionable tie that these 2 girls have. Um, yeah, so getting into this, the gear Xena wore for this one was my favorite of hers. It was the shorts and top combo where she comes in with the black kind of leather jacket thing with the gold accents and then the tearaway skirt. This is gonna sound so silly, but like I love it because it reminds me of my Barbie dolls in the 90s. It just looks so sleek and so good, and it looks so good on her. She just rocks it so nicely. Um, Waka, that right arm of hers really taped up from like the shoulder down to that elbow. Very concerned about that, but she seems to be working very, very well through it despite using it quite a bit. Um, so something I noticed with Xena, this tour versus last tours, this tour, she's a lot more expressive. She was kind of like the Quiet Riot
Hmm.
in Club Venus before. Now we're seeing a step up in her expressions. We're seeing her showing a little bit more emotion. That's the word I was looking for. She kind of had a soy boy moment throughout the match with Waka, where she was when Waka would get her up to do something, which I thought was really cool because it kind of played into, she wasn't expecting to be overpowered at certain points by Waka or outsmarted by her. And I really liked how it showed just kind of that range there. Yeah, again, I really like that Waka hip attack, the Waka weapon hip strike switcheroony on there where Waka was eating Xena's butt. But
What?
there's a little bit moving on. There's a lot more cushion on Xena's booty than there is on Waka's booty, so I think it's less stiff of a hit when you get hit from Xena versus Waka. Um, there was one point where Waka went into her second Waka ride, and Xena was trying to do the suplex, but then Waka reversed it into that Waka ride. The transition on it was so seamless, so perfect, so good. I know Waka is really good at getting that Waka ride in, but to see it done so effortlessly, it made my heart happy. Um, yeah, the last thing I wanted to say was the strength of Xena is just indescribable that she was able and has been able. We've seen her this whole tour being able to just grab everybody, set them up, and just yeet them into that thunderstruck just out of nowhere is just so good. Even if they're fighting her, even if they're struggling, she can still muscle someone into position to pull off the move, and it speaks so much to the power that she has. I absolutely love this match. For me, this was the match of the night, even over the main. The main was great, but this just again, the investment in the story for me, I think, is what got me into this one more.
Yeah, very much so. Like I don't know, I really thought they had just a great solid match with each other. And again, I guess familiarity also plays a part into it. You know each other, you train with each other, you hang out with each other, you're friends, you understand each other. So you know how to work really well with your friends, how to work like again, like I see it in the local independent wrestling team. The guys that are friends that know each other the best are the ones that have the smoothest, best working matches together.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, time for the final match of the second round. It's Hazuki versus Ruaka with Momo Watanabe. Um,
We need
Hazuki attack.
old music back, man.
Dun, dun,
Ba 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 ba
dun,
ba 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 ba
dun,
ba
dun.
ba 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 ba.
Yeah,
We need
I
that
agree.
music more.
I agree. You get Hazuki versus Ruaka. Hazuki attacks Ruaka before the bell. They brawl to the floor. Hazuki sends Ruaka into the chairs a couple times. Hazuki smashes her face off the table. Just like and like ow. Back in the ring, Hazuki hits the top rope drop kick, then gets the face wash. But Ruaka stops the running boot after the face wash with a shoulder block, hits the splash in a splash in the corner, then another shoulder block and a senton for two. Uh, Hazuki fights back and gets the seated dropkick for two, then transitions into that crossface, but Ruaka gets her foot on the ropes. They trade strikes at center. Ruaka drops Hazuki, but Hazuki hits an MX and then a suplex. Corner splash, and then the MX out of the corner by Hazuki for two. Hazuki hits the second rope senton, but Raka attacks her when she goes back up for the top rope senton and suplexes her down and then follows it up with a fisherman suplex for two. Raka with the tree slam gets the stack pin for two. She scoop slams Hazuki, goes up, but misses the freezer bomb. Hazuki gets a cradle, but Tora throws the case at the ref to stop the count. I'm like, that was great. I just,
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I laughed. And this is where everything went tortury. Um,
Shenanigans.
Hazuki takes out Momo Watanabe, and then hits a DDT to Ruaka, but Ruaka clotheslines her over the top onto the apron. And this is where Momo comes and smacks Hazuki in the back of the legs with the bat. So Hazuki drops to her ass. So she's sitting on the apron. And this is where Ruaka comes running in arguably the best spot of this match because it just looked awesome. She
So
does
good.
that like cross against somebody usually leaning against the bottom ropes.
Mhm.
She turns, hits the cross through the ropes, hits Hazuki, and like takes her out to the floor. So Hazuki being eliminated by the over the top rope. And goddamn, where I was annoyed by the case and the bat and stuff, and Momo trying to interfere, but the finish was awesome. Watching her
Right?
do the running cross through the bottom two ropes and out. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
cool. Yeah,
It was so good. It was so well set up. It was House of Torture E,
yeah.
but it wasn't to the same extreme
No, no, no.
level. It was
That's
palatable.
that's why I said it was torture E. Yeah,
Yeah. It was trying to go into the House of Torture's yard, but instead it just kinda sat there throwing rocks at the house instead.
yeah. They're standing on the side. They're standing on House Torture sidewalk
Yes, and
in front of the
little
house. Yeah,
Dick on the front porch going, "Get off my lawn."
and they're not even on the
Yeah,
lawn.
exactly. Um, Yeah, this was a really fun match. Like I said, I did really enjoy the one beforehand. I don't have a whole ton to add to this, except for my thought with like I'm really enjoying Hazuki's climb. It's just interesting to see who she's climbing against. It is a lot of very powerful over the last year people. So to see her, I mean, she is, cheating going on to get to that point. But, Hazuki is coming off the high of last year facing Monet and Azumi for the Strong Women's Champion. I would
No,
always.
that was IWGP.
Oh, right, right. Yeah, sorry. Right. Julia already had the Strong One at that point.
No. That
Didn't she?
title hadn't even
No,
been
no.
invented yet. That title didn't come around till
Right.
this
That
summer.
was early yeah, that was in the summer. Time
Just think about
management is not
just
my
think about
thing.
if
Okay.
Giulia had 10 defenses of that title in the span of like 9 months.
I mean, that's a good thing.
Hmm?
I want to see the champion defending their title every month. That's
Mayu
kind of the point.
Iwatani.
Yeah,
Mayu
Miyu.
Iwatani.
Hey,
Goddamn
you know
Mayu.
what though? That woman does a lot more of other psychotic shit that just entertains us endlessly. Because how many other people can we say we've seen roll down 3 flights of stairs?
It's true. It's true.
So, that is what that is. But yeah, in regards to this match, it is very interesting to see again how who Ruaka is kind of climbing over to get to the top. I personally believe that Ruaka does deserve to be in the Wonder of Stardom kind of area right now. I just don't know if she deserves to be over Hazuki in that quite yet. Hazuki is quite the star, but then Hazuki also hasn't been getting the push that I would expect someone of her caliber to be getting either.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of weird-ish just happening in Stardom right now in regards to some of their stars where I'm getting a little concerned on who's staying and who's going, just based on who I'm seeing getting rewarded.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, incredible. I know the Tide did attack after the match, but Stars broke it up. So yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Of course. They needed to.
yep.
What a
But again,
show.
we've come to the end of another edition of Stardom Review. We'll be back
Woo, woo, woo.
this week with 2 more episodes of Stardom Review covering the quarterfinals, and then and then there's a show that has the semifinals and the finals on it. It's all in the same card, along with a World of Stardom title match and a couple other matches. We might summarize a couple matches and then talk about the big ones. So
Right
yeah,
on.
and then
That's
this week we
impressive.
will have should be coming out tomorrow. We should have the New Japan Cup semis and finals coming out tomorrow. As we're this is coming out on Sunday, we should have the Cup finals coming out on Monday. Chop Talk on Tuesday. Then we'll have some start or either Tuesday or Wednesday. Maybe Stardom review on Tuesday, and then the Chop Talk Wednesday. Then the final Stardom review for the Cinderella tournament on Thursday. Lots of great content coming to you this week.
Jeepers. Jinkies. I still somewhere need to film Ladies Wrestling Showcase, and we still got to figure out how to do Japanese Wrestling Update.
Oh yeah, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of content coming to you soon.
Glorious, glorious chaos, and we love it.
Glorious, yes.
Take us into the outro, sir.
If you want to find us and talk to us and do all that other online connection kind of stuff, you can find me at the X, Mastodon, Blue Sky, and Hive. And I'll be admit, the only one of those 4 that I really use in any frequency is X slash Twitter, whatever you call it. At that Canada guy, TikTok, Instagram, and Threads, which I do use all 3. I just really don't post anything on TikTok, but I do check my messages there. At that Canada dude, check me out on Facebook at Andre Melball Wrestling Talk. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me is there. And then YouTube.com/ at Andre Melball Wrestling Talk if you're not currently watching us on our YouTube. Uh, you can also find us at SundayNightsMainEvent.com in audio form. Lots of great content going on over there. I want to thank our partners over at Sunday's Main Event. We really do appreciate all the support and everything they're going to be doing for us going forward. I'm loving this partnership. It's working out very very well, and I'm very happy to be friends with these guys and working with these guys.
Wow.
want to hear us in audio form and all the other great content, go to SundayNightsMainEvent.com or go check out their Patreon at patreon.com/SNME Radio. If you want to hear there's some exclusive shows there, lots of great content going on over there. Just if you want to just support a great team, support them at Patreon. You can do it for I think it's like $4 American per month. Not bad. Not bad. I think it's 5 Canadian. That's not bad at all. So check them out over there. You can also find me over at our partners over on OLE, twitch.tv/our local establishment. You can find me doing the Japanese wrestling update every Friday with Mel, or I guess this past week it was Saturday, because we just didn't make shit work properly. And you can find me. The show comes out Sunday, so you can find me Monday night doing the Ghostbusters Frozen Empire review with my boys Bobby Bunsen and Alex. Can't wait. Hooking up with Alex the first time since last summer, since we did the Flash review. So looking forward to talking with him again. And then Wednesday we'll be having the MCU rebound on Marvel Talk, talking the Avengers movie. And if you're wondering where our X-Men reviews are, come back after episode 5 airs. We're going to be doing the first half of the season, then we're going to do this back half of the season. We're going to break it up that way, just so we're quite busy, and with a show like that, it's nice to do the arc as a grouping in that sense. So we'll be doing that, and then lots of other great content coming out over at OLE. Check them out at youtube.com/our local establishment. And one more to our boy Mike the Ref, supporting us over at Backbreaker Video. You might be watching us there. If you are, go over to the Andre Melball Wrestling Talk and to Sunday's Main Event to check us out on those ones. But if you're not watching on Backbreaker, go to Backbreaker, youtube.com/@Backbreaker Video for all of our content. Astra Pizarro's content gets reposted over there. Killer Cuts just popped up over there recently. Great show all about the horror genre there. Go check that out. Not just Scream anymore. They're going into more. I love it. And all the other great old wrestling content Mike's got on there, and the replays of all his AEW watch-alongs, which you can watch live at twitch.tv/Mike the Ref. Every Wednesday and Saturday is the AEW watch-alongs. You can also see all the other great gaming content he's doing almost every other day of the week. He's doing gaming content, but he's on there pretty much 7 days a week now, almost. Just rocking that great content out over there. And you can, if you want replays of his great gaming content, go to youtube.com/@backbreaker_gaming, where you can find content from him, Mr. PJC, the man who's not. It fell.
I was going to say, did he swanton off of the ledge there?
I don't know if he can do a swanton, but Rick Jules did fall off of the ledge there. And Rick Jules is on there. And their frequent guest, the wonderful, the awesome Kayla J.
Kayla J.
I just realized something. All right.
Light bulb.
Melball, where can they find you?
If you're wanting to follow Melball, you can follow her on the X thing at Collins Melball. You can follow her on everything else: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Mastodon, and Blue Sky at Melball Collins. You can also find me on our local establishment programming, as Andre mentioned, Japanese Wrestling Update every Friday at 8 p.m. Mountain Time, unless it's not. And we'll let you know on socials if it's not.
Oh, jeez.
It's true.
There's a small possibility there may not be an episode this Friday, just with how crazy both of our weeks are leading up to it. We're gonna try, but there's a small chance. We're gonna try.
We'll do our best.
Yeah.
You can also find me on Astro Bizarro's YouTube channel, where we do our show, Ladies Wrestling Showcase, all about the ladies. We got a show coming out this week for you, hopefully on Friday. Hopefully on Friday. If it's not Friday, it's Saturday, but we need to get it out because we got stuff we need to talk about. And then, hopefully soon, we will also have a guest coming on who we will be dropping on social media once we confirm said guest. If you're wanting to watch Stardom Wrestling, we will leave a link in the description box down below. It is stardom-world.com. It is 999 yen, or approximately 10 Canadian. Shout out John Spears. Congratulations being back on NXT. Why are we 1 minuting me?
No, I'm just getting rad.
Oh, I was gonna say, are we touching tips right now? What's going on?
It's just me getting rad.
Rad, rad. Anyway, threw off my
Just
train
messing
of
with you.
thought.
Just messing with you.
10 Canadian, Shadow Spears. Where am I? The Claw. It's actually more like 750 Canadian because I checked my bank account recently and that's what I was charged. Still a great price to watch some amazing professional wrestling. I think that's it. Andre, my trusted friend and colleague, do you have anything else to say to the beautiful people?
I just want to say thank you to the beautiful people. The beautiful people. Thank you so very much for all the great support
Banana.
here at Andre Melball Wrestling Talk. If you are watching us on either Vaquer TV or Andre Melball Wrestling Talk, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below. That's where we really want. We want to hear the comments from you guys. We love talking to you. We love hearing what you have to say about the shows. Please let us know what you're feeling, what you're thinking, all that kind of stuff. Don't forget to share us out across all the dimensions, especially if you're Buckaroo Banzai in the 8th dimension. Please let us know. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can be alerted every time we drop a new video.
Ding dong.
I'm not answering this late at night.
No,
Also,
it's a little
al-
late.
also, if you're out listening on SNME Radio, please give us a 5-star review. Like us if you can like us on whatever podcast catcher you can. I don't know if that's possible. And don't forget, if you want to support us, go to just to support us in general, go to sightings.mainevent.com. And if you want to support them, go to patreon.com/SNME Radio.
Yes. And that being said, I am your Melba. Over there is Andre. We will see you next time. Mwah.